Well, hello everybody. I guess you haven't heard from me in a while. Yes, I'm still trying to find my way back in here at least part-time. It's hard to find time with having to remain gainfully employed. However, sometimes someone makes something so cringeworthy that you seriously have to make the time. Case in point.
One of the YouTube anti-SJWs said something stupid about the atheist community. I created this image as a result, and the image got quite a bit of positive response.
That is known to happen in the self-made echo chambers known collectively as Twitter. Do you have anything besides this vaguely self-reported ad populum?
Some of the atheists who responded to it wanted me to go into additional detail about what an atheist minus movement would entail. So this video will address that.
Well, right off the bat, I would guess doing something like herding cats into a movement. Good luck. And I'm sure your efforts won't simply be a rebranding, in all but name, of previously failed herdings, will it?
Here's 3 useful requirements, or guidelines really, for what it takes to be a member of the atheist minus movement. First, you should be in some way, shape, or form an atheist. I know, right? Pretty straightforward shit right there.
Well, that, sir, is pure genius. And here I would have thought to go with theists. How did I miss such a great opportunity to go with the thing which the movement is named for? What is the second obvious thing we need? Please do tell Captain.
Second, you agree with the following statement. I think that atheists in America experience some level of discrimination because they are atheists, and I think putting a stop to that discrimination is an important enough goal to act on, that I want to either do something about it or see others do something about it.
Whoa there, horsey. 2, which is actually both 2 and 3, is highly specific. In America? How about the world? But Captain, and activists plainly can see from the evidence this is obvious. But then to conflate it to a level of political activism? Well, I guess this the movement part of the movement isn't it. Because I doubt that you would waste the time LARPing this movement if you meant something less than political scale action. So tell us, what is the third plank of your platform?
And third, I will not be a part of a movement that includes the cancer that are the ideologies of white supremacy, white nationalism, anti-SJWism, the alt-right, anti-feminism, or other bullshit similar to that sort of cultish thinking.
For the life of me, I can't figure out why this is so hauntingly familiar. This is going to keep me up nights. I'm serious. Please, someone comment below. What is it that I'm forgetting to remember?
She gave a list of, these are the kinds of things we're talking about. We're going to be atheists plus we care about social justice. We're going to be atheists plus we support women's rights. We're going to be atheists plus we protest racism. Atheists plus we fight homophobia and transphobia.
They picked the wrong sort of cultish behavior. Am I right?
Besides the anti-science, anti-reason, religious-like doctrine of these beliefs,
citation needed.
There's an additional reason atheists should be particularly wary of these particular cults.
Is there a particular reason atheists shouldn't be wary of cults generally? Is that reason because you support a particular one?
This whole there's no such thing as an atheist community shit that has been mindlessly repeated for almost a decade now.
Funny how pervasive facts can be. It's almost like they're conspiring to destroy falsehoods.
I realize now that this self-defeating mantra played a big part in the destruction of what was a growing atheist community.
That's right, folks. It wasn't any of these folks or their allies that were attempting to tear the atheist community apart. It was the acknowledgement that a single shared trait does not a community make.
The alt-right, the anti-SJWs, the white supremacists, all those assholes. They just loved it.
Immaterial. What did the overwhelming majority of atheists, liberal free thinkers, feel about it? Oh, I see what you did there. I withdraw my question. I'm not playing ad populum red herring today.
Because I think they realized that atheism represented a critical gateway for white males. Remember, active, outspoken new atheism is made up predominantly of white males.
Damn, another.
Citation needed.
So atheism being a critical gateway for giving white males in America a seat at the table with other minority groups in the liberal, progressive community as more than just guilt-ridden white male oppressors.
You caught us. What can I say? It's true. Atheism is nothing more than a bid for white males to claim a minority status we don't deserve, in order to get an inside scoop on how we can oppress other minorities better. Pack it up, guys. No! They found us out. Pack it up! All that time pretending to have issues with religious falsehoods and political power. Wasted.
That is a very dangerous thing to the political goals of the alt-right, the anti-SJWs, the white supremacists, the white nationalists, and all the other turds in that bowl.
While fishing around in that bowl for turds, don't turn a blind eye to the biggest turd of all. I suggest the tactical use of a mirror.
By encouraging atheists, especially white male atheists, to not think of themselves as a discriminated against minority, they effectively convinced a whole demographic to deplatform themselves, to make them powerless. It prevented them from forming what could have been a powerful minority group.
Your argument is extremely loose in the corner, and you're going to find yourself in the wall of your own logic. So let me straighten you out. You can't first argue that a group of what you describe as primarily white males is wrong to portray themselves as a discriminated minority, and in the very next breath decry that this group of what you describe as primarily white males was unjustly derailed from a justified status of a discriminated minority. I don't have to draw you a picture to show you how this works, do I? Wait, I think I do.
That would hopefully eventually join other minority groups in working together in the spirit of intersectionality.
So if, as a minority, atheists wish to enter a group of other minorities on their own, this is bad. But if, as a minority, atheists wish to enter a group of other minorities on the terms that they accept that they are not as minority as other minorities, all is good. Questions. Who is this group of atheists that either encompass all atheists or represent all atheists politically or socially? When was this group incorporated? What is its history? Where is my membership card? When was it determined that individuals could not consider themselves as minorities, but that approved groups could? What power put atheists in the majority such that they could no longer justifiably consider themselves a minority? Since when were qualifiers added to make the meaning of the word minority other than not the majority?
To fight against, well, an administration that is the summation of all the beliefs you get of the white nationalists, the white supremacists, the anti-SJWs, the alt-right, the creationists for that matter.
In administration, there is no atheist administration. I see. I bet you changed the topic to politics. How unsophisticated a red herring. I bet you still think if you impeach the president, Hillary didn't do nothing, would damn the rule of law, be president, and it just breaks your heart that not enough atheists have your back on that.
Trump Pence is the perfect, real mix of amoral anti-SJW atheist, meaning white male supremacy, and anti-secular religious extremism. So it's only logical atheists would unite with others to stand against these toxic, poisonous groups.
Called it. And be very careful when you use words you can't properly define, i.e., logically.
But by convincing atheists that they can't be a community,
define and confirm any two, that's TWO, characteristics that every single atheist shares. Then we can talk about this hypothetical community.
Quite a few of these now isolated atheists ended up drifting over into these alt-right anti-SJW, anti-feminist white nationalist cults.
Come on! You're beginning to wear out the only meme I have.
Citation needed.
And as a result of that, the new atheist movement allowed themselves to be defined by the poison of those cults, and the rest of the world defined them according to that, which is why movement atheism has such a terrible reputation today.
Two things, really. You have asserted a movement atheism without evidence. I dismiss it. And it wasn't the centuries of proven discriminatory practices which have defined atheism for theists. According to you, it was some unproven, hypothetical bad actors. If you don't mind, I will just stick with the evidence-based claim.
Now, the first two of the three I listed, these are requirements really of necessity. If you aren't an atheist and you don't agree to some degree with statement 2, then it's like, why the fuck are you even here then?
This is just a guess, really, but because they don't believe in any deities?
It would be like showing up to a Mets rally when you don't watch baseball, don't know shit about baseball, don't care to ever know shit about baseball.
That one goes into my hall of worst analogs ever. No, rather, it is like a baseball fan going to a game even though they never once played baseball and do not intend to at this game and never plan to in the future. You need to be formally stripped of your ability to make comparative statements until you meet the minimum requirements to do so.
The third requirement, that's a requirement of political expediency.
Yeah, I guess. When atheism officially accepts the role of a political movement, until then, we aren't.
Practical survival.
You can't eat or drink atheism, nor can you shelter within it from inclement weather. I think you might be inflating its value just the teeniest bit.
If we want to work to make the world a better place for atheists, then we need to actively and very publicly disengage from the people who poisoned the new atheist movement. We need to send a clear message that we are not only disengaging, but we are taking up the fight against them.
Oh well, good news. We did and are doing that. And since you are so blissfully unaware, let me point out the multiple poisons used. Identity politicians, radicalized socialist mouthpieces, and borderline personalities. I know that isn't your narrative, and now you'll make me out to be all those evil things you hate, because I neither can nor will listen and believe. But you can't hold it against me if I hold out hope that the truth might set you free.
Because until we do that, we can't seek intersectional support with other minority groups.
I must have missed that meeting. When did we decide that we wanted intersectional support from theists? And when did they become a minority group?
And in numbers, there is strength.
And in equal and opposite proportion, there is weakness. You really don't do this logic thing, do you?
Now, to those who say this is just a new atheism plus, I say, well, no.
Well, to be fair, the original Atheism Plus tried and failed to promote the positive side of your religion, and you are coming from the angle of opposition. However, you do share every other quality.
Atheism is a lack of belief in God or gods, and A plus added on with their plus a strong statement of belief in and commitment to other groups' ideologies right off the bat, without really allowing questioning of those ideologies or examination of those beliefs, actions, or ideals.
And you're doing exactly what differently?
With atheism minus, atheism is a lack of belief in a god or gods, while the minus is a lack of belief and dismissal of beliefs and ideologies that have already been proven to not just be irrational, but to also support either directly or indirectly an administration that is, among other things, by default, anti-atheist.
Using the exact mantra, dogma, and religious fervor of the previously mentioned Atheism Plus, while reaching for the same goals, virtue signals, and outcome. Yeah, I see the canyon of difference. The secret is in how you did the math to reach the same conclusions. And is it just me, Or are the secret police following you everywhere to keep a lid on your atheism too?
Who atheism minus groups work with beyond that? Well, it's up to them.
There are no atheism minus groups working with anyone. You really need to get a handle on the difference between LARPing and reality.
Personally, I look at the harmful, criminally negligent legislation this administration puts forward.
I'm sending you a copy of the Constitution. The administration puts forward no legislation. Their capacities in that area are limited to advice and enforcement. Putting forward legislation is a jealously guarded job of Congress. But I have to hand it to you, that was a nice, I hate this thing, I can't properly define moment.
But really, none of this is going to happen unless the remaining leaders of what is left of the atheism movement get on board.
I want lists of names. Who are these fictional leaders?
Personally, I think the time is ripe for atheists to publicly join the resistance as a community. Heck, most of them are already in it, in other capacities.
Wow, the resistance? What are you resisting? Is it the right to have a right to resist like Antifa? And most of them are already in it? What the hell have you been going on about for almost 7 minutes? Your fucking job's done. Go home.
But really, it's not going to happen without some of us from the original atheist movement, the likes of, say, Lil Andrew and Aaron Ra, or David Silverman, really all of American atheists, Seth Andrews from The Thinking Atheist, Mark Nebo, Tracy Harris, and Matt Dillahunty, and Russell Glass, well, all the people of the atheist experience, and a lot of others who should really be mentioned here, but hey, you know what, you get the idea.
Yeah, the idea was no Noel Plums, TJ Kirks, Mr. Repsians, Logics, etc. I mean, it's not like you haven't been beating at this drum to the tempo of a Chinese water torture for as long as I and many others have been alive, but you go ahead and keep beating away, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. But don't stop, because really, I don't think you should be deprived of the only real skill you have.
Feel free to ask any questions.
Why? This 7 minutes has amply demonstrated you have no answers. Drum beating, you're good to go. Intellectual hijacking, I think you're prime. But answers? No. I have answers though, and I will share one with you. How could you have saved everyone this wasted 7 minutes of their lives? Atheism divided. I insist on thems and us's. I insist on internal warfare and drama, and therefore insist we accept the title community so that we can feign internal space to fight and have drama in. I insist that we not call this LARPing, LARPing, but instead refer to it as the only true reality. And above all, I insist we travel back in time so that my candidate will win. See how much time it took me to deliver your message? And then you're done, with plenty of time to spare for trolling and complaining from the comfort of your parents' wallet.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom.